So welcome. See someone else coming in, and let's go ahead and get started. And so if we can pop up our first slide, we've got some handy slides here for you to give you the notes, and you can also see some beautiful location pictures here. Now, the first thing when it comes to intention is just asking yourself, am I really in the right place here? And so you'll know you're in the right place if you've been feeling drained by life's demands. You know, if all the things that you have to do in your life, you're feeling like they're stacking up, or you feel really pressed in from all of that. I have found that being able to step back, to step away, and be able to look at your life fresh and new is an incredible way to get oriented and to get clear. And, with all the ups and downs, the things that we have going on in our world today, we can all use a little orientation for sure from time to time. This is also, you'll know you're in the right place if you deal with fatigue, lack of vitality, or depression at all. We will be able to have a space there for you to get rejuvenated, really specifically looking at Ayurveda and Ayurveda Yoga wellness or replenishment ways of renewing vitality. But from Ayurveda's perspective, to be able to renew our vitality, we have to, in a sense, kind of clean, move everything out, because the beginning of any unwanted experiences in the body, the breath, emotional body, or the pranic body, or the mind is accumulation or indigestion. So we want to create a space for very clear digestion. And so that's in part this detox. If you are experiencing or feeling any feelings of heaviness, sluggishness, just really not feeling a big motivation or not feeling very inspired, through these experiences, just really stepping back from it all, stepping back from everything we're taking in, from what we take in the form of food, from what we take into our mind, from stepping back and really looking at what is true nourishment. What does it mean to really deeply and profoundly nourish your heart, your soul, and your being? And what does it really mean to take the time and that deep self-care and looking at your life like a blank canvas and saying, okay, what do I want this to look like? What do I want on this canvas of my life? And spending some time taking a look at what's important to you. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on visioning, people transitioning from one job to the other, or working through these, feelings of heaviness, or, these types of things, or just needing to revive your digestion, revive the assimilation that you need in your body. This is also for you if you want a total reset. I've got an online crew in here, and I'm pretty sure that y'all know what I mean, right? We all want and can use a reset, and this is the perfect time of year to do it. In this winter season, this is a time that we look out and leaves are off the trees, and we have that cold kind of more turning inward, and that is the time that we create this entire reset, a reset of our perspective, a reset of our metabolism, a reset of of our digestion and how we're feeling. And so these are going to be the primary focuses. And as I mentioned, not only have I, done these things for myself and continue to do them every year, but I have worked with hundreds of people in doing this. So we can go on to the next slide. So here are some of the things that we will be working with. And please, if at any time you have a question, it is totally appropriate to pop a question into the chat, and I'll be able to hear the question. So please feel free to pop that into the chat. So what you're going to learn about today, what we're going to look at today, is exactly how Ayurveda Yoga can lead you to mental clarity and peace. And the primary way that that starts is it's this process of really learning what it means to begin at the beginning. And we learn that seeing the body as an instrument and just building from the ground up with the body and getting very, very connected with our breath and our body. Now, that may sound like, oh, okay, just get grounded and connect with the breath and the body. But Ayurveda Yoga is a specific science of the what, why, where, when, and how of nature. And we are nature. And for the most part, many of us have moved away, or some of us have even kind of gotten completely derailed on being able to live our true nature. And Ayurveda Yoga and its principles we will draw on universal principles that will empower you to be able to tap in, to see clearly, to feel that deeper inner peace. You're going to also learn about revitalizing practices, how you can deeply connect with your body and promoting complete physical and emotional balance. And not only, through the psychological food that we will take in there, like nature, sounds of nature, becoming aware of the sounds of your own breath, beginning to deeply connect with nourishment and the beautiful light, gourmet yet light food that we will be having there. And you'll learn specific purification practices to how to bring about the fire. Now, what I mean by fire, it's the principle of heat. Two main principles for us to deeply understand are the principles of heat, the solar energy behind the sun, for example, and that more lunar energy that's connected with the moon. And we're talking about two terms that you may have heard of, Agni and Soma. And when we learn to connect deeply with our own inner Agni and Soma and how to work with that, you will walk away with a real sense of how to find that emotional stability and physical balance. So setting a vision, you hear, like, if you're on social at all, you're anywhere in the world, you hear people all over the place talking about manifestation, law of attraction, talking about, just think it and you make it happen and this, that, and the other. But the truth is there's a lot more that goes into it than that. And Ayurveda Yoga offers a very specific science, the science of magnetism, the magnetism of our own soul as it exists within our inner body as a golden, energetic, or a golden energetic fuel that is a magnetic force, and that we'll learn about connecting with the law of attraction and the law of repulsion. See, the law of attraction by itself can be not so great because we find ourselves attracting to us, things that we may not be so crazy about. So this force of all of the cosmos, the law of these magnetic forces, the law of attraction and the law of repulsion, it's a process of learning how to weave these forces together in our inner world and how to weave them together in our body, how to weave them together under the light of Soma, the moon, and the light of Agni, its solar force. And then we take it even further, understanding three main energetic or magnetic forces that are behind all of creation. So it sounds like it's complicated, but it's not. It's extremely simple. And the more that we can understand it and integrate it, the more that we begin to learn that what we experience in our world comes through us, not to us. So we're going to also be looking at lifestyle and how you can integrate a lifestyle. Now, I'm not talking about going back in your life and going, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, but really learning how to live in such a way that the first most important thing becomes the understanding of what is the embodiment of acceptance. What does it mean, and how do we utilize resistance to strengthen us? So a number of these principles that before to you may have seemed like something overwhelming actually become like our power. Now, this is really important. This retreat is not the thing for you if, okay? These were something that it was really important for me to offer to you. This is not a retreat for you if you're not willing to take a break from devices or limit your nutrition to truly high quality food in lesser amounts. Now, you'll have what you need in the form of food. If you're someone that maybe you do need to have a little more of something and you have a special need, we can definitely have a conversation about that. But we are going to be taking breaks from devices. And, I'm not taking your devices from you or anything like that. But this will be something that you need to be ready to say, especially if you're addicted to your device, you're going to need to be willing to say, I'm ready to take a break from this device. So this is extremely important. So if you're kind of like, oh, I don't know about that, then this may not be the thing for you if that's tough. But for me, this is the primary detox part, is the detox from the devices. Also, if you don't already have a steady personal practice, you need to have a steady personal practice. And what I really suggest is that once you would register, and the retreat is only a few weeks away, but we have something called the seven habits of the highly effective yogi. We have a short video with 7 basic movements that you can start working with. But we're going to be very comprehensive in our practice. You're going to learn very specific breathing practices that work together with the body. And we'll be doing some active, very powerful tantric meditations and energetic activations to really be waking up energy throughout your body. So it's extremely transformative and something that I really, really love working with. So your steady personal practice is going to be pretty important because these practices will be a bit more advanced. And when I say advanced, I'm not talking about, oh, you're going to come in and need to be able to do a ton of push-ups. And I'm talking about you have a steady personal practice where you do have some capacity to calm your nervous system, or at least you know what that means. Like if you hear me say that, you're like, okay, I get what that means. You don't have to have it perfect or any of that because, working with anxiety, working with depression, working with angst that's my specialty. And so working with you on that is what we want to do this for. But it is really good to come with some experience with a steady personal practice. And this isn't going to be for you if you're just not ready, ready to clean it all up and start the year out. It's totally okay. I'll do this again, at another time. But it is important to know this is really a clean it up situation, and something that I think that you will really appreciate if you're into this kind of thing. And from this talk that we're having tonight, from this information session, you will receive a $200 off coupon. And so you'll see that here. And there will be a link dropped into the chat with a link to where you can actually register and enroll with the $200 off. So you'll want to copy that and get hold of that link. And also there will be a link, I think it already just popped in, to the landing page with a bit more information. And please feel free to type in any questions that you have in the chat because now would be the time to ask them. All right, so just a little bit about me. So I have been leading retreats for well over 25 years. The very first retreat that I ever led was in Costa Rica, and it was in the jungles of Costa Rica. And when I first set up my first retreat, it was actually scheduled to be at a beautiful retreat center in Georgia. However, they weren't done with the renovations in time. I had this big retreat scheduled, and next thing you know, we ended up needing to move to Costa Rica. Well, 100% of the retreatants were very happy about this. And we went to Costa Rica for my first retreat, high up in the jungles. I thought it was going to be a little simpler in Georgia, but it was a wild success. And we had an amazing time. I have led retreats all over the world. I've led retreats to India. We actually do have a retreat coming up at the end of 2024 into January 25, going into India. It's a southern India retreat. So I have that. I've led retreats to Peru, Costa Rica, Hawaii, Austin, Texas, in the Piney Woods of Texas, the British Virgin Islands. So I have definitely led my share of retreats, and I've done probably, I think, in the neighborhood of about 30 smaller retreats called healing immersions. This is a bit of an expanded one of those. And so I am very, very experienced at retreats. My retreats are very popular, and they're primarily, I think, the ones that are the most popular are the transformative retreats like this one. And in this retreat, you'll have time for silence. You'll have time for quiet time. There'll be plenty of reflection and plenty of journaling. And our primary focus will be particularly around that, deep connection with your own heart, and then being clear on what it is that's important to you, and just supporting you on what steps you may need for to step back into the world and to begin again. And in my own journey, the first retreat I ever took, I was just in tears the whole time. I couldn't believe it. I've always loved to travel, and have traveled all over the world. Oh, I've led retreats to Italy too. I think I've led like 3 or 4 to Italy. I've traveled all over the world even before I was leading retreats. And at first I thought, what a great deal, I'll just lead yoga retreats or whatever, and it's amazing, because what I learned in my first retreat for me personally is that that's the only kind of vacation I ever want to do anymore. Because when you go on like a regular vacation, you need a vacation from your vacation. You're just like spent. That's how I am anyway. I'm a Gemini, a little intense. And so I thought, I'd come back and I'd just be wiped, just wasted. And I'm like, this doesn't work for me. I don't like this. And so, when I did go and take my first retreat, and it was like when I came away from that retreat, I was a brand new person. And then I even knew then too, I was like, oh my God, Ayurveda and yoga, they're for me forever and ever and ever. This is amazing. Because, as a yogi, it's recommended that you annually to biannually go away, go internal, and really reflect and go back and out into the world. But my first retreat just was so rejuvenating. And this retreat that we have coming up most closely reflects my first retreat that really meant so, so much to me. And from then on out, I was like, yep, that's it. These are my vacations, and taking people on these. Sometimes people will say, wow, you're working so much when you're there. And I'm like, it is not work to me. It is rejuvenating. It is replenishing. And it truly is a beautiful thing. And I hope that all of you are able to join me. It isn't too far away, so it would be important to maybe jump on the bandwagon fairly soon. And are there any more questions? I believe we have a next slide, but I think I've already said everything that's on that slide. Yeah. And are there any questions, Carrie? Anything?
Yeah, we had one question that I could see that could you talk a little bit more about the location that you'll be going in Austin?
Okay, great question. So it is a beautiful ashram outside of Austin. And in this, where we'll be staying, the grounds that we're staying on, just these, oh my gosh, ancient, just beautiful, old, I say ancient, but old oak trees. Old oak trees, peacocks are on the grounds, and other wildlife, and the ashram itself. We'll be staying in they're called the garden rooms, and so you're staying in the garden rooms. You have an option of having one roommate or going solo. So there's pricing options for both of those. And where we'll practice, it's in a beautiful place called the Ancient Yoga Center. And just a divine practice room with plenty of windows. And we actually practice on the second floor of this very well done, well architected building. And downstairs is where we take our meals. And on the grounds of the ashram, there are, it is an active ashram. We don't actually integrate with the people that are on the grounds so much because this is their home. But we have amazing walking paths. We'll be doing some walking. There's nice hills for walking in, and it's fairly simple to get there. We've had people when they leave there, they're easily able to get an Uber in and out to the Austin airport.
Okay, thank you. And I see Brenda has her hand raised. Brenda, are you able to unmute?
The picture on the screen while she's figuring that out, the one with me with the sun that you see, that's at the top of the hill that we walk up. Some people, it's not a technical climb or anything. It's kind of a gradual going up, but we walk up there to see the sunrise, and that space right there. If you Google, you can type it in. I actually don't have the website right in front of me, but the name of the ashram is Radha, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav Dham, DHAM ashram in Austin, Texas. If you put that in, that'll pop right out for you. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Brenda said that her question was answered, so good job.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, feel free to go and make sure you go visit the landing page as well. There'll be more information on there.
Could you talk a little bit about the kind of yoga that you guys do at Rasa Yoga?
Okay, great. That's a really good question. So we're what you would call a non-denominational yoga, well, which is what I refer to as yoga. So we practice the asanas, or the physical postures, and we practice from, it's very structural based, like we're going to build it from the ground up. And when I say structurally based, the primary teaching when you're doing the asana practice, really everything. My mantra is staging, staging, staging. Learning how to stage your practice in a way that you learn how to play your own edge and you learn how to press into that edge. But the primary purpose for asana and then pranayama, or breath work, is to truly teach you to be able to direct your attention inward, awaken your inner teacher, your own, asana inner teacher, your own breath inner teacher, and to know when it's time to maybe challenge yourself to go and take a step or two forward. And the way that I do that, it's a very specific methodology to support you in really listening to your own breath and to your own body, and then knowing when it's time to move forward and when it's time to go back. And then from there, a very specific method of learning how to connect your inner dialogue with your breath, with your body. So in Ayurveda Yoga, and we will talk about this there, but we learn, how we're comprised. We're referred to, there's like a causal body, a subtle body, which is our breath and our emotional body, and then our physical body. And so we practice yoga in a way that we want to bring those three aspects of ourselves into a synergized relationship with one another. Because man, once you've done that, you can do just about anything. So that's that on that type of practice. And we will be practicing meditation. I have a practice that's our lineage here is from the Himalayan Institute in Pennsylvania. It's a Sri Vidya lineage. And we practice a very universal type of practice of first really learning how to have your mind follow your breath, and then how to deeply connect with like inner space, on the space that the body occupies, and developing neuroception, being aware of outer space, of the space that the body occupies. And all for the purpose of mastery of first the nervous system, and then the ability to be present in the moment so that you can manifest, truly create a process of manifestation consciously, of how you consciously want to live.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think that's all we have at the moment, and that is the end of our time.
All right, guys, thank you all so much. And Carrie, thank you for emceeing this. And Padma, I really appreciate all the work that you did and making the beautiful slides. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that I get to meet you and that we get to enjoy the detox together. Please be on the lookout. We'll send the recording of this to you. And, be on the lookout. Go check out our website because we have a lot of other really cool stuff going on, other courses and things like that too, coming up on our online platform and other retreats and just in general, things that take us closer to the truth of who we are so that we can live from a space in this crazy world, but live from a space where truly we can be unmoved by what we see happening out there, where we can really hold that deep space of self-care and self-love and just really be these truly the gentle souls that we really are deep down and get through it all thriving. So thank you guys so much. Namaste.